Hi everyone, this is going to be a quick video on why not to judge. I've been seeing all these, I just get insights, like revelations, if you want to call it that, on logically. Like I follow logic. I'm a doctor. I have my doctorate in psychology. I'm a psychologist in my day job. But I wanted to bring this the analytical skills that I've had and I've gained through my work, to here, so that you guys can be equipped. I want everybody to be equipped. It's like even when I was a kid, I would watch that Coke commercial, and it was an old Coke commercial. I won't age myself, but it was like, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. It was like, I'd like to fill the world with love. Like I just had this, I always wear, I was born the day before Valentine's. I don't know if that helps, and so I always wear this heart that reminds me to drop down from my head into my heart. And so I want you guys to have not only the love in your heart and the peace from being really present in this peace that comes to us from divine love that passes all understanding, but I want you to know logically why it's important. Here, I'm just blocking someone else's car. I'm so protective of other people. Oh, she don't even have a license plate in the front. Like, you know how they do that in the movies? Anyway, that was a friend. All right, so okay, so this is what I was shown. I was shown a drawing, and so I'll draw it for you guys here on a blank piece of paper, so I don't have to keep showing you my journal. All right, so there's this one big line, and there's this one short line. I'll show you, okay? And so this is why not to judge anybody. I think Jesus said it. Jesus is always teaching about higher consciousness. He said, do not judge, or else you will be judged. With the same measure you judge other people, you will be judged by that measure. Now, one of the reasons of that is because when we're in this state of comparing and judging, that's egotism. And egotism always wants to judge and always wants to make it feel better, or else it doesn't care. The pain body loves food. And so it's another way of calling the pain body. So if it can put you down by comparing you to other people, wow, there's a whole lot of teaching about that. I'll just say briefly that, I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, I went to a week-long advanced training of his, that it's like if you were put down a lot as a child, let's say, your brain has neuroreceptors. It's just kind of like, if you drink caffeine all the time, right? Your brain develops these neuroreceptors that are like, I want caffeine, give me caffeine. And so when you don't, you get the caffeine headache. This is why you have to wean off and change the habit and change those neuroreceptors, heal those, so they're not asking for that anymore. This is why babies can be addicted to drugs if their parents were on them. They have neuroreceptors that are like, we have to have this, and they're freaking out inside when they're not. I mean, I know people that have been on antidepressants and they have to wean off so slowly to get off. Now, I heard of somebody, this is just a side thing, that was addicted to opioids. And I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not giving this as medical advice. But she got this vitamin C shot in her body, and apparently it cleared all the gut bacteria. And she said she didn't have side effects. Now, I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm not promoting that. I'm just expressing what she said. But anyway, going back to not judging, right? Well, because my friend Elliot was on opioids, but not when he died, my friend Elliot Smith. And so I was always looking for the cure for that. So my ears really paid attention when this person was talking about how that's what she did, and she was amazed. This person was on it from a surgery, and then you can get addicted. I know lots of people. Anyway, I won't go into it. Let's go back to not judging, right? And so getting it in your logical mind, right? And so look, Jesus taught us this principle of, to whom much has been given, much is asked, okay? And to whom like if someone only had third grade education, you're not going to expect them to have the same capacity as someone like I went and got my doctorate. Now we are all souls, and Plato says all knowing is just remembering. And so there are lots of ways that we can be, you can be really, really gifted as a musician and be connected and be the creativity, the flowing love comes to you more readily. Now some people say it's because you worked on it. Nothing happens unless you've worked on it. But, I won't go into the whole idea about where we come from and all that stuff. I just know, our citizenship is in heaven. We come from God. And if memories or work or whatever is in our DNA, I don't know. I mean, I won't go into all of that. All right. So we don't judge, because look, if, let's say, I have been given all of this knowledge about divine love, about God, about, and I had like really loving parents, let's say, right? They all tried. And so if we did that, it's like, look, too much has been given, much is asked. I ought to, with the wisdom and the skills and the blessings that I've been given, much is required of me. I ought to act up here, and sometimes I act down here. Now, what if this person has only received this much, or this person has only received this much, doesn't know anything about God really, about divine love, about forgiveness, about grace, about kindness, like didn't have kind parents, parents that neglected them, that taught them you're just a burden, or, not consciously. Sometimes it's consciously, sometimes it's not consciously. We all justify our behaviors. So I'm not justifying any of that stuff. It is, yes, forgive them. They know not what they're doing. They still need to be forgiven, because what they were doing was wrong. It was wrong. And so, but anyway, okay, so it's not about judging other people, but it is about understanding, like, if I go kick an animal, like that's wrong. That's not loving. That is not kind. That's not, if I restrain an animal because it's about to bite someone, then, the same action can look like a bad action, but it's actually protecting the animal, protecting the other person, blah, 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 all of that, right? So there's lots of nuances to this, but judge not lest ye be judged. If I'm always in this judging place, then I'm always in this critical mode, and we ought to be aware. It's like I can see a milk, and it's like, oh, that gallon of milk is halfway empty or halfway full. I want to put it on my list to go get more milk. Like that's assessing the level of milk that's in that gallon, All right, so that's different than it's like if you step on a scale and the scale gives you data and gives you a certain weight. If your identity is wrapped up in that and you're saying, I'm a horrible person because I'm this weight, instead of going, that is telling me that I've been eating a lot over Christmas or whatever, or that, my weight fluctuates or whatever with hormones. But I want to take good responsibility of my life and do my best to, to be sober and balance my life if I can in that way. But so this person, let's say, has been given this much. And this person, let's say they're acting, all the way up here. They're acting good and kind and wise with what they've been given. Now, it looks like my actions are better than theirs, but some of my actions are way lower than theirs, and these people, have only been given so much, and it's just like, and my actions are still lower than theirs. And so who am I to judge anybody else? I don't know what they've been given. I don't know. C.S. Lewis talks a lot about it, their starting point, And the other thing I was getting when I was in a meditation the other day is I was going, wow, when Jesus is on the cross and he says, forgive them, they know not what they're doing. Like I was quoting, he's saying this to people that were crucifying him, the person that came to bring redemption, to reconcile us back to a perfect God, to take the sin upon himself, to to be the most loving and wise example of how to be detached from your physical body in a healthy way, how to treat it with respect, but also be detached, lay it down. Don't let your body and your mind and your old programming run your life. That's what I was saying. I forgot. I really want to say that. I hope you stayed till this point. Is those neuroreceptors, what Joe Dispenza was saying, is you can be used to thinking bad thoughts about yourself and feeling really bad about yourself. And so it's unconscious, but you had neuroreceptors just like a baby that was born, to a drug or something. It's like you have these receptors where it's like you get this, I'm back to that familiar home, even though that home is not a good place for you, and it's an addiction, and it's not good thoughts about you, and loving and kind, and being aware that you are divine, you're a soul in a human body. You ought never to have been treated like that. You ought never to have taken in that identity, but we just take it in as a child. If someone kept stepping on me or kicking me once a week or 5 days a week, my whole childhood, I start taking that identity on until I learn better. And then, they say, when you know better, you do better. That's like this, right? This is why we have no place to judge other people, because we don't know where they came from. Now, the other thing that I was getting in the revelation when I was just sitting and contemplating about, just forgive me of everything, I was like, wow, if you could see parallel realities and everything, if I could see all of the unconscious, not kind, even if they were conscious, unloving actions, unkind words I ever said in like grade school or after that, or things that I did that I thought I was doing good, but really I was just in my egotism and being self-righteous and rejecting someone else before they rejected me, or feeling rejected when they weren't rejecting, and so I pushed back and gave them rejection, a taste of their own medicine, or whatever it is, right? It's like, if I could be like God, divine love, because divine love is just always emanating love. That's its nature, right? And the enemy of our souls, our principalities and all these kinds of things, always wants us to believe a lie, that we're not worth, that we have to compare, we have to step on other people to feel better, we have to earn our worth, and have in our bank account and this exact replication of that, and our body is, and our weight is, and our clothes are, and all this stuff that I don't buy into. This is why, I'm not saying I don't buy into all of it. I do my best to be detached from it all, and I learn how to be present. And this is why I can sit to you guys and make video on the floor in my room, and in my pajamas or whatever, I try to be modest, but anyway, is going back to if I looked at all of the wrong things that I ever did and all of how that hurt other people, and then they in turn hurt other people, I was just like, look, there's a bunch of leaves over there. Look at all those leaves. I don't know if you can see them. I can't zoom in with this side of the camera, but there's a ton of leaves. It's kind of like that. I saw something like that, and it's like, that's why we say, forgive us our debts as we forgive those. Who am I to say I can't forgive other people for the things that they did wrong to me, either on purpose or unconsciously, or from the hurt that's happened to them, or from their lack of knowing. They didn't know better, and I'm not at all talking about excusing a narcissist or enabling people that are toxic. It's sad if they're stuck in that pattern. You can feel bad for them, but you can get out of that pattern by stop waiting for them to show you that you're worth more. Start knowing that you are worth more, and then you know more, and then you can do better and reach higher. And we don't have to be stuck in judgment to get our worth from I'm better than that group of people, or I'm better than that group of people because I don't do this, I don't eat this kind of food, or I don't act this kind of way, or I go to this kind of church, or whatever. Just be in love. Be in love. I have this. Die to yourself. Go back to the oneness. Here's the X out. The egotism and the old patterns and the lies. Just integrate, this wounded child part of you so that it's not running your life. love that part of you and just be like, it's okay. You were acting on shadow self, but there's that bit left over, that bit that's not excusable. And you ask divine love, just forgive me, wash my slate clean, let me start over and help me to know better. I wish you so much love. Share and like and comment and subscribe, because we're going to keep going on this. I just want to keep giving what I have, and I know it's valuable. I wish you so much love.